Class is in session, please. Quiet, quiet now. Was ist los, mein Freund? That's German. No big deal. Probably butchered that as well. Welcome and welcome back. We made it to 1,000 subscribers, so thank you very much to all of you. This video was inspired by you and the comments and stories shared by you. The topic is how to determine entry speed going into a turn. How can I feel more confident in corner entry as I'm going in the corner? Besides the external variables in your life that you can't control when you're entering into a corner at that moment in time, such as skill level, type of turn, conditions, equipment, all those things will dictate how you enter and what your speed is as you enter into a corner. When you're entering a corner at that moment in time, you can no longer improve your skill level. Now, when you exit a corner, you might have a little bit more experience and have improved. The type of turn that you're going into, is it a very tight turn? Is it a very long sweeping turn? Is it cambered, off cambered? Those will dictate how you enter into the turns. The conditions of that day or night, how the weather is, track surface conditions, what the temperature is. Also the equipment that you're on, what type of motorcycle you're on. Is it a 250, 1,000, a 600? All these will dictate your entry speed into that corner. The type of tires that you have on there. Are they performance tires? Some tires do a little bit better on the side than others. The condition of your tire, how old is that tire? How used is it? Is it a newer tire? All those external variables when you're approaching a corner are now out of your control. You could have made decisions prior to that corner leading up to it, like having better equipment or not riding in those conditions. However, when you're approaching that turn, it is what it is, and those are variables you cannot control anymore. Now, regardless of the variables that are going around in our life, we still have control over our actions. We have the ability to conduct ourselves in a consistent manner. And what that does is that brings us confidence. Confidence from consistency and comfort. And confidence is what will help you build going into the corner. How do I achieve consistency and comfort? There are a few ways that I do it. Doing my best to have fundamental foot controls, hand controls, and consistent body position when I'm going into that corner. Everything I try to make identical as I'm approaching that corner with every movement that I do. Having reference points as you're entering into that turn. Where am I braking? Where am I turning in? Where am I looking at with the apex? With reference points, you can improve and go into the turn a lot faster. Looking at the corner in reverse. Instead of looking at corner entry, we're looking at corner exit, apex, and corner entry. The more time we spend on the gas, the faster we go on the racetrack. So judging our corner exit and how much space we have on the track as we're accelerating out dictates how sooner we can get on the throttle as we're exiting the turn. Having fundamental foot controls, hand controls, and body position will give you consistency. If you don't have that, your brake markers and reference points aren't going to be consistent. I focus on the hands, the feet. I made a video linked here, somewhere around here about the fundamentals. Making sure that your feet are always doing the same thing at the same time. Your hands are applying the same amount of pressure. You're getting on the brakes in a smooth manner every time. You're getting off the throttle in a smooth manner. All your inputs are done at the same time as far as setting up for body position. I see a lot of riders with late setup. One thing that helped me with corner entry is setting up my body position early. Before I even touch my brakes, my body position is set up. When I'm on the straightaway, giving it full gas, 100%, first thing I do when approaching the turn is set my body position up. I move my butt over to the side. Once I have my body position set up, the next thing that comes after is popping up, rolling off the throttle, gently getting onto the brakes. You don't want to grab the brakes and load the front tire and suspension in a very abrupt manner. You're not going to maximize your traction with that front tire as you're entering. Having your body position set up early is going to have the motorcycle planted as you're going into the turn. If you're going into the turn, you're on the brakes and you set up right before the turn, you've upset your suspension, and now you're going into the turn with your suspension rebounding and compressing. So it's not going to be consistent every single time, and you're fighting the motorcycle a little bit. It's better to go into a turn thinking, I could have gone in a little bit deeper, because you can work with that instead of, I feel like I'm gonna die, I don't know if I'm gonna stop. That kind of feeling, it's very difficult to learn from that or analyze or improve from that type of riding and feeling. If speed and solely speed is what you're looking for, I would look at the turn in reverse. What's the soonest I can get onto my throttle? Some turns require sacrificing your entry speed so that you can get on the gas a little bit sooner and a little bit earlier, especially for long straightaways. Gauging this with where you are on the track. Being mindful when you're getting on the gas, where you're getting on the gas as you're exiting the turn, and being mindful how much space you have left as you're exiting the track. If you have a lot of space, you can get on the gas a lot sooner. You play around with getting onto the edge of the track. Using the edge of the track is another way to maximize corner entry and exit as well. I would recommend trying these tips out and trying them one at a time. I'm not a fan of trying multiple things at the same time. I don't know what works and what doesn't work. If I focus on one thing and I focus on that for a while, then I can come to the conclusion if this is helping me or this isn't helping me and move on to the next technique. I hope some of these fundamentals bring you some confidence in corner entering and you have some more enjoyable times in the twisties. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, leave them below. If you want me to create a video about any of your questions or comments, let me know. Thank you as always for your time. If you found any value at all, consider using your clutch or throttle hand to give it a like or subscribe. And I will see you next week. Finger guns? No? No finger guns? Okay.